Welcome back to our second part of the first chapter, and let's pursue research, but with more subtle subject, which is about personality integration and enlightenment. And one statement here is, and this comes from Eckhart Tolle, and that is very known. Has written many books, and of course. Is a specialist in meditation, and the question is about enlightenment. Can enlightenment happen through meditation and practice? Drawing upon Eckhart Tolle, his personal experience and science, the answer is yes. And I touched a little bit the subject previously. You know, we all the time speaking about enlightenment, and there's so many definition or expectation about enlightenment. It's like, if you read some literature or some gurus or mentor of meditation, it's like one day they were in an ordinary state, and the other day boom, they are enlightened, and then it's like the state is there forever. And I believe this probably happened. I don't deny this, but I'm more a tenant of the fact that enlightenment is a progressive process, because just on this fact that we reviewed a few minutes ago with experimentation, where all the physiological parameters get enhanced from attention and development of different parts of the brain and new circuitry, and there is in other words, there is a process there. And enlightenment, as you know, also come from another culture where, we probably were speaking about the same thing, but, in other words. In other words, we speak about holiness, if you're in the Western culture, and so let's be reachable here, because, if you're all the time looking for something that is, will manifest one day, and it's like, it's like an event, and before that event nothing is there, or there's no benefit. This is not the way I like to see enlightenment. I like to see it like, someone who train, someone who go to gym every day, or someone, is a tenant of a nice lifestyle, or someone who practice yoga, and after they recognize an improvement of the either of health, or state of well-being, and this is the way I like to see enlightenment. I like to see enlightenment like also an idea of integration, because you go through life, and as when you came along, how aware are you of the world, and how aware are you of your social tissues, and how aware of you, about the universe, and how are you integrating in this reality, and how is your energy flowing with the whole universe. And this is what is enlightenment. Enlightenment is, reaching progressively a level of being that is kind of an art, where you maintain a balance with the reality that you're creating within every day, and the reality you're creating out every day. So meditation is not just a reverie, it's like also a technology where you create, you map. As you mapping your inner world, you mapping the outside world. In other words, you allow to you at the same time you allow yourself to manifest your outer reality, and you will evaluate the enlightenment, accordingly to this capacity to manifest, to create things, to flowing with the whole universe. You will assess your degree of integration, how much spam attention you have, how much experience of well-being, feeling connected with the whole universe, and be honest, for most of the people, it's like, cycle, where, oops, one day you feel to be there, and everything is flowing, and you are in the oneness, and then everything look brilliant around you, and the day after, now you go back, to a dichotomy state where there is more resistance. So as you build in, through life, this in and out movement between, I would not say darkness and light, but more integration and less, you are evolving toward this enlightenment that we are speaking about. Enlightenment has to be connected with reality, has to be grounded with life. You cannot be enlightened because you just get out of a meditation and now you think you went to heaven, and then you get out of there and then everything go wrong around you, as your family, your social, you don't have any concern about the world. It's a whole thing, where some maybe part of your life are enlightened and some others you have to work in. So it's a global process of integration, including all the aspects of your life, all the function of your life, and this is what we will speak about. So this is what for me is enlightenment today. But of course, there was of course a time at the beginning I would think, I would get out of this weekend of intensive meditation and boom, now I got it. No, this is not how this happened, because very, very soon reality bring you back, and where you stay humble, fast in the fact, that you have still to work on some aspect of your life. Enlightenment is about to be humble, is about to be respectuous of all dimension of life. This is for me what is enlightenment, and it takes all the life to get there. For maybe some of you has are born enlightened, but I think generally speaking, people will follow more the pattern I'm speaking about. And but what is interesting today is we have study that reflect this on the level of physiology. A new study again has found that participating in a 8-week meditation training program can have measurable effect on how the brain function and when someone is not actively meditating. So of course, this study you can get encouraged, because it's like, okay, I can get result very quick, and usually that's happened many times when people start a new practice. It's the luck of the beginner, because you where you are. And where the meditation will bring you very quick is there is a shift now. There is like, you hear and then you already jump, on another level, and then you can see, quickly, something is changing, is shifting. And this is also reflect here with the brain scan research. And you never know, who will respond faster to meditation. Sometimes you think, oh, this individual is more religious and spiritual, and that it has nothing to do with this. It's nothing to do. I went on seminar and training where people came out of the blue, never meditated of their life, and then they were having this kind of very interesting shift, reflecting QEEG brain mapping, and that was astonishing. So. Universe doesn't have our scale, is on what it is based, we don't know. The people, different genetics, different life, different trauma, different, and what is expect is sometimes is not exactly what humanly we will think. So let's be open to. A very early result. And then I notice also that, sometimes you reach some plateau. You're meditating with a technique for many years. You have integrated some modality, and it's like meditation has become a habit. And then what you experience within, reach kind of an accustomed level. It's like, you have develop this new brain circuit, and now you be comfortable with this. Sometimes it's good to change, and because now you enhance other part of the brain. You open other aspect of the creativity, And this is that this program, Pro Consciousness Meditation, can help you, because you will see I'm working with different elements. Why? Because that was also the history of my journey, where I was hooked for some few years with some kind of tradition, and then I experienced another kind of tradition, and then going from Eastern to Western to different, and then it helped me to in some way integrate more dimension, and sometimes leave from a plateau to another level of experience. So just be open as you're doing this course to add a little bit space here and there to what you're already doing, just to be, try to rework outer brain circuit. So here another research that is showing that the model of the brain thought process explain the apparent chaotic activity pattern of the individual neuron. They do not correspond to a simple stimulus response, thinking about arise from the networking of different neural circuits. And Cloud in the Heart, new model of brain thought process, that was published by Science, and you will have the reference at the end about that. So what is interesting here is this illustrates the phenomena that we see all the time. When people close their eyes and now they start to calm down in stillness, you will realize thoughts are there. They come back and forth, and you cannot control thought. And then and this is probably reflecting what you just see on the slide. Just on the slide is incoherent activity. And this is why it's so difficult for sometimes people meditate, because meditation is to take advantage of the thinking process and to go where there is no thought at all. But of course, most of the time people are in the activity, they are, anxiety, they have different, and then they close their eyes, what they have is just a storm of thinking, and this is what is most of the time what's happening. You start to spin around an idea, and then you cannot let it go. And this is what, you will learn with meditation, is you start to, focus, settle down, and then reach a point of non-activity or stillness. And of course, this is where breathing is important, soul mantra, and all the technology I am teaching to help that. And don't think it's you are the only one. This is like this for everybody. You go bed in the night and then you see the thing is still floating here and there, and worries, and here this thing happened, and you want it's every, and then you get caught in this and this cloud of thought, and it's a trap. And we will see this in the next slide, when we're touching the research and the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. The mind creates a trap, and you have to go beyond the mind, because it's going beyond the mind that you access this space of creativity. You create new circuit. You create a new possibility to respond, to the problem you have in the reality. And this is a key point. We need technology to be able to get out of our mind. And this technology has to be very, in some way, dramatic or powerful or efficient, because the mind is a very strong trap. You can be trapped in this very easily. And this is come from Dr. Dispenza. Mind cannot fix the mind, but you can use the process of thinking. You can use advantage of the law of gravity of the process of thinking to go beyond the mind without effortlessly. And this is what we will teach during this pro-consciousness meditation, what I call T-square meditation. If Lynn Mittergard is the queen of the architect of the project intention, I will say Dr. Joe Dispenza is absolutely a mastermind taking advantage of what has been found in the science of neuroplasticity. You know, what all the research has been done during the last decade, how to implement this, you know, to the human behavior. Dr. Joe Dispenza is certainly one of a kind. And this is why we have created a class with him on brain and neuroplasticity that you have access in the program. And they are based on these original book, Evolve Your Brain, and the other one is Breaking the Habits to Be Yourself. Can we see the slide a little bit closer? Yeah. Breaking the Habits of Being Yourself. You can learn how to become the hero of your own life. When you truly have a desire to change, you can access the power within your own mind to take control of your life and create a new destiny for yourself and the whole world. That technology, that science is so important, you know, in medicine. This is why we have, you know, integrate this in our curriculum. Why? Because, you know, what face most of the healers and the doctors in their life is to change habit of the people. You know, because habit create most of the disease and call them acute or degenerative. Most of the time people are all the time looking, you know, for the miraculous pill or the miraculous treatment. But at the end of the day, you know, you come a point where they have to change their way of thinking, they have to change their habit, the way they eat, the way they, you know, they have to change, you know, with this what we call the old self to create, you know, a new inner environment that will generate health, because they are caught in a drama, you know, and most of the time, you know, you can cope, you know, with the level of your, I will say, what you have integrate to your family and your society. But when you get a disease, it's because, you know, you lack of resource here. It's because, you know, you're getting in kind of a conflict that has been generated by, you know, past behavior, past habits. So you have to get out of that. So you have to create now a new reality based on new brain circuit and a new chemistry. And how can you do this? And if you just refer of your old way of thinking, you have to create a new reality here. And this is what is the medicine of tomorrow. It is the taking advantage of neuroscience and quantum physics to be able to shift an individual which is out of balance, caught in a dramatic reality, to a new reality, you know, that now, you know, will deal with a new way to look, you know, at, you know, how they react to life. So let's look at this slide a little bit closely. Personality create your personality, create your personality reality. And this is coming from the course of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Brain and Neuroplasticity, where he explained, you know, how you think, act, feel, create a state of being that become your personality. So if you want to get out of there, you know, you have in some way, you know, get out of your way of thinking and to create a new way of being. And this is where meditation is so important, because the meditation process need to be as enough dramatic that you are able to get out of your mind, to be able, you know, to experience reality at another level that later on will be associated with a new feeling and new action. And this is how you create the new self and the new being. And this pro-consciousness meditation I am explaining will help you to do that. Will help you to you know, create this moment of creativity, that you can create a new self that is reacting to life, you know, in the most harmonious way. And this is why this class is so important, because it's important at many levels. First, you know, as you go through the curriculum of the university, you will have to implement, you know, concept of quantum physics and the art of healing at different levels. You know, how to homeopathy and Taoist medicine in acupuncture, how you evaluate the client, how you integrate all the pieces together. But at the same time, you having for yourself a tool that will start to have a more transcending way to look at the individual, you will be more able to integrate this in your practice. Secondly, having also some tools for your client to be able to get in a mode of experience that they can rewire their brains and experience, a reality from disease to health is also very important. I'm not saying the meditation is the cure of everything, but it's probably a panacea that can overlap any type of condition of your client, because they're all going, as I said, through life, to trauma, to stress, and or they have all to go to different mode of change habit and addiction and so on. So meditation could be a cornerstone in your practice that you will teach or refer to your client to help them to support the processes of healing. Of course, if they walk in the office and they have like a broken leg, you go with a cast, or if they have a flu or this and this, you can deal with some vital therapies like homeopathy or vital force products and so on. But when it comes with some degenerative disease, when it comes with a problem that has a connection mind and body, autoimmune disease, when it comes with even cancer, any type of situation that obviously has a connotation of conflict, mind-body, connotation of change of habit, connotation of handling the stress and situation, meditation is certainly a cornerstone to use in your practice. And how can you recommend that if you're not knowing about what it's about? And knowing what it's about doesn't require that much time. It's 10 minutes here and there, but you will get caught in meditation if your meditation is also efficient, if your meditation gets a result. And this is why I have come with components that are very important to make a meditation profound and effective. That can be done on a daily basis. Number one. Number two, part of this program is also to gather with others, which is very important. Just think about what is an experience when you are alone, in a room to do it, and what about when you are 500 in a room doing the same thing? It's everybody will agree that there is more enhancement here, and this is what we're offering with the Project Noosphere. Individual gather with others, and then as people give testimony of their experience, then there is a reinforcement, and this is where you can get more result. Let's look at this idea of the ego and the soul, and of course I'm referring to the course of Dr. Joe Dispenza here. It's like you have the ego personality, the me, the one who create the dichotomy, the separation, the one that come with all these feeling of resentment, complaint, jealousy, anger, materialistic madness, war, coldness, past, future-oriented, intolerance, egoism, self-importance, self-denial, social intolerance, living up to this and that doing. And this is what I describe, when I speak about this, in term of ego and term of self. This is what I describe in the Tao medicine course, because this is where we detail a little bit more how works the southern energy body through meridians, to organs, to chakra, where tradition has recognized that certain of the being has been related to, by example, heart with love and compassion, liver with anger, and this meridian with tolerance and so on. They have through tradition be related to some archetypal qualities, and through Taoist medicine we see how much an organ is at its optimum functioning when it's more in the self mode. So in other words, the energetic inner physiology is also connected with some soul quality or self quality and ego quality. And meditation through the process of awakening will help to develop these archetypal quality and bring at their optimum the functioning of the body. You see, we have evolved a lot since the last 20 years, or 30 years, from this health and absence of disease, from health to a state of integration of qualities. And this is what we resume in this chart here. You see, we saw the ego side. If we look at the soul side now, when you look at the chart, we term in terms of we, unity, understanding, friendliness, forgiveness, love. These are all archetypal qualities that can be related to different meridians, organ, core. This is what I will explain later on. You say humbleness, spirituality, wisdom, peace, sympathy, new orientation, tolerance. In other words, and you see also this in Maslow. When how personality get integrate, through a higher experimenting higher quality of the self, and this is where meditation take place. We can innerly work on our southern energy body, enhancing this different quality through the process of meditation. Of course, this pro-consciousness meditation will be an introduction to the core of this practice, but we will probably develop other courses in the future where specifically we can work on different meridian or different organs. We can re-energize organ meridians through different technique using touch, quantum touch acupuncture, and also crystal technology. We will come in this, but for now it's like we just get our foot in this idea, of neuroscience and neuroplasticity, where the meditation is at the core of this new science. Because if you don't get with different tool here, again you have a plastic science. You have new information, but how you implement that, how you integrate this new, how you take advantage of neuroscience in terms, of neurotransmitter and new experience of reality and shifting your behavior, if you don't have in hands, meditation tools. This is very another aspect important of the program. The consciousness meditation we're speaking about, I title it T Square. You will understand later why. Is also about transforming the conditional movement of subtle energy in the subtle, transforming the conditional movement of the subtle energy in the subtle body at the level of organ meridian chakra to a state of aligning the ego character to a quantum self personality. This is exactly what I was describing previously. In other words, through meditation, we are shifting the energy, not only, rewiring the brain, but we are shifting the energetic subtle energy body. Because you have to realize that if you are in the mode, ego mode, which is more reacting to life, to a conditioning mode, in other words, you react to life the way you have been educated, the way you have been, the social tissue you have been exposed, the trauma, it's like, you have a predictable way to react to life, which could be a willing way if you you don't hit any conflict. But if you hit a conflict, now the way you react, the way the conditioned way is not anymore adequate. And this is where you develop a disease. In other words, this is where conflict appears. This is where you have conflict mind and body. To get out of this conditioning mode that is reflected in your energetic core of subtle energy, you have to go in a more creative mode. And this is where meditation helps to do the shift, to deepen your experience of life, of reality, to creating a new reality with new brain circuit. Now you can shift to another mode of functioning. And this is what, simply what has explained Deepak Chopra when he was speaking about spontaneous healing. People were caught, with, traumatic disease or incurable disease, and then boom, one day, they have this leap of awareness and everything is disappear. Why? Because, this leap awareness was this event that will have create the shift and to from an ego mode to a self mode of working. And this is where meditation come in, because to create this sleep that we're speaking about. So very important, a tool to integrate the new concept and notion of neuroscience. So you see now, with the research that we have covered through this chapter is tremendous, from physiology, from, developing your mind, developing concentration, addressing the problem of depression, anxiety, improving your dexterity, your focus, your attention, slowing the aging. And now, finally, we touch, not only that, but the general outcome is also, an integration of the better you can be. This is how important it is. And today, where we are, where we are in a society with so much crisis and so much polarization around different opinion and different politics and different, religions. And do you think we don't need to back up a little bit and just ask yourself, hey, maybe I should start to look things differently? Is the way I am looking and understanding my reality is really complete? Can I go deeper in my experience of the reality? And this is where fit in meditation, individually and collectively, because the shift that has to happen now, to rescue this society that is so in some way chaotic, is to ground now our experience of reality in something which is where every all the roots connect together, and I hope you have been inspired in your practice to pursue or to start very soon to meditate twice a day. Thank you very much.